Hey everybody, how's it going? We are back with a new themed Hot 5 list. I am joined here by the nicest guy in comics, Peter Renna of CBSI's Dollar Bin Digging, Usual Suspects, and a lot more. I'm Mike Morello of CBSI's Cover Tunes and Cover Fire, and we are going to go over this week's Hot 5, themed Hot 5, sorry, I should say. And for more information on this stuff, you can head over to comicbookinvest.com and check out the full article by Ben C. The link is down there in a banner on the bottom of the screen if you are so inclined. This is, I have to admit, this week, which is Silver Age War comics, is a part of the industry that I have completely ignored my entire collecting career. I think for both of us, yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of those blind spots that it's not because I don't like them. Every time I see these covers, especially the early ones, I go, "Ooh, man, maybe I should buy that." I don't know. Is it worth anything? Can I flip it? Do I just want it? Is it really cool? And I always just leave them behind, and I probably shouldn't. And this list, honestly, has gotten my juices flowing a little bit to look into some of this stuff. It's cool. I see a ton of it. I don't see it in good shape, that's for sure.
No.
It's definitely out there, banged up, beat to hell. My guess is, in a lot of cases, soldiers were reading these and probably had them in their duffel bags and in their foot lockers and that kind of stuff, and they didn't get treated all that well. Again, I'm guessing, or veterans that came back and wanted to read this stuff. So in honor of Memorial Day week, we're here to talk about this stuff, and there's some really cool ones on the list this week. So we've got Kev's Collectibles in the house. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Please join in the chat and let us know if there's any info you want to add or anything you want to know. We will do our best to find out for you. So without further ado, Peter, you want to hit the list and let's start it off. Yeah. We're going to start off with, on the bottom, we're going to start off with number 5, which this week is Star Spangled War Stories number 90. And this is from 1960. This is sort of the beginning of the war that time forgot, which was DC kind of launching into this whole sort of dino war kind of thing. It was a huge hit. This is the beginning of all of it. It is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is Ross Andru art. Let me check that and make sure I got that right. Pencils by Ross Andru and inks by Mike Esposito. But this is, this is like Devil Dinosaur kind of thing going on.
Looks like Devil Dinosaur to me, but
it is a super, super cool cover, no doubt. I don't think I've ever seen this in the wild. Ben writes that they do pop up in beat up shape, and it's a pretty sought after comic. But when it does show up, it's usually pretty beat up. So when it's up above mid grade, there's usually kind of a frenzy to get people's hands on this, and it can be a tough one to get. But overall, not a particularly expensive issue, I don't think.
No, I've never seen it either. Like you said, I keep an eye out for war books because my pops, he still likes grabbing war books when we go out digging. I'm like, you got this, whatever. I don't know. I'm like, well, Dad, it's a buck. Just throw it in a pile. We'll just grab it. And
yeah, seriously, if he enjoys it. And I mean, some of them have just unbelievably cool covers. And I always want to pay more attention to a lot of the covers. And so I usually go through this stuff slowly just to kind of appreciate it, but I don't know that I ever really bring any of it home. Mostly because I don't have room.
Yeah, well, there's that.
I think that's probably a big reason why.
Got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let's move on to the next one.
Number 4, GI Combat 87.
Now this one I know because this cover is freaking unbelievable.
Yeah.
GI Combat 87. It is just, I mean, it's popular just because that is a badass cover.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that thing. That's just insanely cool. But it's also the haunted tank, the first haunted tank. Oh, yep. Look at this. Which is wildly popular with a lot of people as well. Just a really great book. This is yet another one I don't think I've ever seen in the wild, particularly.
No. That red sky, just really the red sky with the yellow lettering. It just it pops right off the page there.
It really does pop. It's really beautiful. I don't want to mess this up. I want to make sure that I get the artists right. Just give me one quick second. I'll take a look. GI Combat 87. I should probably know this one.
Now, you're much better at keeping up with that stuff than me.
Yeah, and Ben C even says the graphics are awesome. I mean, they really are. Everything, like you said, the whole layout is great. And a lot of times these Silver Age comics, there's the central subject is really awesome, and then it gets muddled with the word bubbles and all kinds of ugliness. And it's never great. But I'm having trouble looking this up actually. But I don't know why I can't find that.
Right. I mean, whoever the artist was, they took a very interesting angle perspective on this one. Like you're kind of up above, with the planes, kind of diving down on the ship. It's
just a really cool, different perspective, right? Sorry, it's Russ Heath. I should know that. Russ Heath cover, particularly awesome one. This is probably my favorite on the list. This would be the one I would go look for myself if I could get my hands on one. But again,
my favorite cover.
Like the other one, though, I don't think I've ever seen this in person. Granted, it could be that I'm just not looking out for it, but I don't think I've ever seen it. It is also one of the most chased covers right now in the Silver Age for War comics, so I probably have some competition when it comes down to that. At least people that aren't looking for like Sgt Fury and Agent Rock, sort of the Rock stuff and all that kind of thing. That's a different set of collectors, but this is just wildly cool. All right, moving on, I guess. You want to talk about this one?
Number 3. Well, I don't know enough about this one. Most thing I know about this was from Ben's write-up is that this is the first appearance of Mademoiselle Marie. She's got the red beret. She looks familiar to me. I don't know why she's familiar to me, but this cover is also, I know I've seen it before. Probably not in a while, but I've probably seen it on hot lists and, top lists for the war era. But like you said earlier, I don't collect war books, so I don't know enough about them to know which ones are important and which ones aren't. So this is a learning experience going through this list.
Yeah, I love this cover. And, and you're right. This is one of those covers like in the back of my mind, I swear to God, I've seen before. Yeah. But man, the bullets hitting the ground, I think that's water, I guess, is what that's supposed to be. And a dead slumped over soldier who's just clearly fallen out of the sky with his parachute still attached. I love a cover that shows an action scene that feels like the action scene rather than the static kind of a feeling or just like one character's posing there on the cover. It just sort of gets old. This kind of thing is just gorgeous.
This feels like it's a part of the story that's inside. Like you get a sense that, hey, maybe we'll find out what happened to this guy who jumped out of, this airman that jumped out of a plane.
Yeah, and the other thing Ben notes too, and this is something I meant to mention before, is that it's one of these rare books from this time frame where you have a really strong female character, and I think there wasn't a whole lot of that going on, and a lot of people really wanted it. I think we saw a ton of it start to hit in the 70s in the Bronze Age. Where we got a lot more sort of strong female characters like, Black Widow, the new version of Black Widow, and sort of a newly revamped Wonder Woman once she got her real costume back, and then Red Sonja, and a lot of other characters kind of like that. But back in the Silver Age, we didn't really have many, and a lot of them were on teams, so you might have this team of dudes with one girl in it.
Yeah,
like
one
Avengers
girl,
or X-Men or something. You have your Jean Grey or your whatever, your Marvel girl, or you have your, Invisible Girl or, Invisible Woman, or whatever you've got in your team, but it sort of gets buried under the rest of the team sometimes. But it's nice to have sort of a strong female in the forefront, and we get one here. So
yeah, absolutely. And this also kind of reminds me of an old, Xbox game, Saboteur, like where you're in France.
I remember that game. That game's awesome. I remember that game really well.
When I look at her with the beret, I'm like, all right. And this picture I found, like with the posters up, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of that game.
That's really cool.
All right. Number 2.
Moving on. This is one we probably both know. So this one definitely got popular after the Iron Man movies. Once we actually got the Howling Commandos in the Marvel universe, and they were done really well in the movies. Yeah. So Sgt Fury and his Howling Commandos, number 1. This probably was a nothing book until MCU hit. And when I say nothing book, I don't mean there weren't people chasing it, but it wasn't like I'm not sure I would say blue chip status, but it definitely wasn't like a high end key at the time. And I think this is one people look out for a little bit more often now than they did before.
Absolutely.
But the first appearance of Sgt Fury and his team, Ben says, and I agree, sat in the shadows for far too long. It definitely did. This was one that when I started collecting, I didn't even really know existed.
Yeah.
You know, we all look for the same books when we get in. Oh, X-Men 1 or Fantastic Four 1 or whatever your favorite character was, Hulk 181 or something like that, whatever you were looking to get your hands on. But Howling Commandos, you're like, I don't know if I care all that much. But then they were handled really well in the films, and I think that that probably helped. But
I was going to grab a shot from the guys from the films, like, but you know what? At this point, everybody's seen the Marvel movies.
Yeah, seriously.
For Captain America: First Avengers, I don't need you giving you a picture of them. You know who we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think as a result now, it's solidified itself as a firm top 5. I mean, this is a firm top 5, maybe even the top most sought after book in the Silver Age for the casual collector.
Yeah.
Who is not looking to dive deep, but knows this character or knows these characters and wants to get into something that they know, they've seen on screen, they're excited about. This could be a good way in. So, and a cool book and a great cover too.
Yeah, and that's a very good point about the casual collector, because the next one is confusing. It was confusing for me to put it all together. So this one was very straightforward.
Yeah, it was. Let's get to that one. And I'm going to go right off of Ben's write-up because I don't want to mess any of the facts up here.
Yeah.
So we got coming in at number 1, Our Army at War, number 83. Now, this is a cover I've seen before. This cover is a classic cover, at least to me. Anyway, coming in, the true first appearance of Sgt. Rock. There was a debate for years, even into the early days of CGC, where there was mislabeling of the comic as his first appearance. The debate was settled a few years back, maybe 2012, when the war, Matt Balestros, as well as the war correspondents, dissected and explained the 3 issues, lending some much-needed military expertise to the subject. Since then, this comic has jumped and stayed at the top of every war comic collector's want and need list and established itself among the new age of Silver Age keys. I think there was some debate about whether or not he had his rank at the time. So whether or not he was truly Sgt. Rock yet. Oh, did you get this? Okay, cool.
I grabbed this and did some Wikipedia searches and whatnot to try to get some info. And these are little highlights that I picked up about, I guess, the steps that they took.
Yeah, so you got first Sgt. Rock prototype in GI Combat 68. No rank is given, so he's just the Rock. Then returns as Sgt. Rocky in number 81 with his unit, Easy Company. And then in issue 82, he's called Sgt. Rock, but is not present.
He's not there.
Interesting. Yeah, so that's awesome. That should make it relatively easy. So then in 83, he is finally actually Sgt. Rock with his correct name, with his correct rank. Yeah, with his actual crew. So and just a super badass cover. I mean, that cover is fantastic. The perspective on that cover, just the whole thing. That's just, I mean, man, I think maybe I want to try to seek one of these things out too. But man, I mean, that's, now that this is definitely on people's radars and it's a bigger book, this is going to be a toughie, especially with a black cover. It's probably beat to hell every time it comes up.
True.
I would assume. But yeah,
so still badass cover.
Oh, absolutely a badass cover. And then we have our honorable mentions, which we sort of already mentioned, which are those Army at War number 81 and 82, which we just talked to you about why they are. So these are sort of cameos or prototypes or however you want to look at them. I guess I would view them as, I don't know what I would view them as. I guess they're the right character, but they're not the right character. So sort of prototypes, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You might even kind of look at it like with the ASMs, like with 359, like, yeah, Cletus Cassidy's there, and you see the symbiote, but he's not Carnage yet. It's like you get maybe a little taste of the character. You're building towards it, but you're not quite all the way, there yet.
Yeah, I think in this case we can give it cameo sort of status just because, not that we're giving it anything, but you know what I mean? One could give it cameo status since it is the same guy. It's just not the character whose name we know. So it's like the other night on 3 Comic Monty, I said something to the effect of the fact that like Legion of Monsters really first appeared on a UK weekly.
Oh yeah.
But it's not the Legion of Monsters that we know. It's not Morbius and Ghost Rider and Man-Thing and all those characters. It's just Dracula and Frankenstein and the Wolfman and all that kind of stuff. So it's sort of semantics. Yeah, Monster Squad. Yeah,
Monster
exactly.
Squad lineup, basically.
it's sort of semantics. And in this case, I guess we kind of have semantics too. So these are absolutely still worth hunting down. There is nothing wrong with either of these books. You got a Nazi cover on one of them. You got a really cool action shot in the other with nice bright color. They're great covers. They're not as cool as the 83, in my opinion. So I think the 83 definitely has everything going for it. But these two are still super cool, very sought after books.
Absolutely great covers.
And I wouldn't throw these in the trash if they came my way. They're definitely very cool.
No, especially that one. I really do like the yellow. Like, there's something about that yellow. It's just so bright. And then you got that soldier riding the tank like Triple H back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I love that. Yeah, and it's this. You can just hear him, right? Come at me, man! Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, even the plane there, it's got like a little swastika right there in the propeller, like coming at the soldier. It's like,
yeah,
they're not messing around.
No, that's so cool. Oh man, could we blow that up? I wish we could blow that up right there. So cool. Anyway, look at that. Boosh. It is
letting me. I can get that close.
So, and I forgot to mention the cover art. I think I mentioned it in passing with the description, but the cover art for 83 is Jerry Grandinetti. Just a great cover. I'm assuming these two also are. I assume he did the run, but I'm not positive about that. I can check that too, just to make sure we've got that right. But either way, also, I mean, I think this is one of those cases where you just buy all three if you can get your hands on
them. You find them, just grab them.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'll tell you, before seeing this list, I don't think I was excited about war comics quite as much as I am now. And I definitely want to go try and see if I can dig a couple of these out. So I thank Ben C., whose article's over there on comicbookinvest.com. I put the banner up earlier. I'll flash it up real fast one more time just to make sure you guys can check that out. Here it is. So that's the full link, but you can just go to comicbookinvest.com and scroll down just a bit. I think as of this moment, it's like the 6th article down, or you can just put in Silver Age War into the search bar and it'll come up that way too. Don't forget to check out CBSI all week for all of your free content, info, news, nerding out, all kinds of awesome lists and articles from both of us as well as from many others, including the Hot 10 list that comes out every Friday, Topher's True Firsts, which is always an amazing read, and tons of other great content. And then also on the Tales from the Flipside podcast channel, please hit that up too for a full week of awesome content as well. We do the 3 Comic Monty. We do this show. We do the Hot 10 overview. We do Global Comic Safari on Tuesdays. The main Tales from the Flipside show on Mondays and Vintage Voyage on Sunday night. So we got something on every night. It's pretty awesome stuff. Great dudes doing this content and really, really great information all around. So hit us up on comicbookinvest.com. Hit us up on the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And we hope to see you again soon. Thanks so much, everybody.
Well, take it easy, fellas.
Appreciate it.